Hey, I think we're live. Today, I want to talk about something that I've seen a lot in the past week. As you may or may not know, I am a pharmacist as well as doing my health coaching as an Ageless Life. And this weekend, I worked, and something that really came up a lot over the weekend was the way that people are feeling right now. And there was a lot of fear, worry, anxiety, and concern. And a lot of it was much greater than the situation um, warranted. Granted, I was dealing with people that were ill, but I've done that for, over 15 years. And this weekend was quite remarkable in the fact that there was so much of the fear and anxiety. So I want to talk about that a little bit because those trigger a ton of things that happen in the body and really not only aid you, but impact your health significantly. And in the long run, impact your longevity. So it's like, she's serious. Oh my God. It's not going to be that bad, really, I promise. So, and we'll use a little bit of humor along the way. So, talking about what happens with the body when you are in stress or in fear, any of those kinds of things. And I always use the saber-toothed tiger example. Not that there are saber-toothed tigers running around right now, but it really gives people a good idea. So, when we were cave people and we were running from the saber-toothed tiger, our adrenaline came up. We had the fear. It made it so we could run faster. Our senses were more alert. And then we get away from the saber-toothed tiger and all of those hormones and everything kind of releases, it drops down the level, and we kind of, and we have that sensation that we're, maybe it's wiped out, maybe it's tired, maybe it's happy, depending upon the situation. And I'll give you another analogy is I went to a a um, storytelling event. And in this storytelling event, they had 10 minutes in which they could talk. And at the end of the 10 minutes, they had to finish. And these were amateurs and people that came up and they were judged. And you could really see the tightness and tension in people's bodies. They'd be maybe hopping around and moving, or this one guy stepped from foot to foot. Another guy did this, tapped his leg. A woman's voice got really high when she first started out, and then kind of dropped lower as she went through. But at the end, all of them had the very same thing that happened. You could see that happened, but also there was a joy associated with it because they had done something that they wanted to do and that really tested them, and they were super happy about it afterwards. And you could tell and you could see it in their bodies, in their expression, and in the way that they walked. So that's one example of how we can use stress and fear and those kinds of things for a positive. The other side is what I saw this weekend, and people were unable to take in information about what they could do to make the situation better because they were playing it over and over again in their head. So, what is it that we can do to stop this freight train of all of this stuff that's going on? And also, the result was they don't feel good. They don't really enjoy anything. Um, they don't enjoy food. They're not sleeping well. Anything that they do is not enjoyable. So, figuring out how to really navigate through this piece. And it's surprising. It's not as hard as you would think. And it's a little bit of the lesson that I learned from my cats. I have 2 cats, D'Artagnan and Cleo, and they are always in the present. They're not worried about what's gonna happen. They're not worried about what they did before. They're in the present, and they're enjoying where they are and what they're doing. So, what is it that we as humans can do? Let me start with one little example, and that is food. One of the people that I talked to this weekend was saying, I don't enjoy eating. I don't find any pleasure in it. I don't have an appetite. So we talked about what it is that she was doing and what she could do to make it better. The first thing is she didn't put her food on a plate. She just ate it right out of whatever it was. Some of it was frozen dinners, which the ones that she had were really high quality as far as that's concerned. But nonetheless, it's not the same when you look at a plate and it's like, here's my little cardboard tray or whatever it is that's got the food on it. And it's kind of all lumped together and doesn't really look that appealing. Versus taking it out, putting it on a plate. Maybe you put a slice of tomato on there with it or a little bit of lettuce or whatever. Or I happen to grow pansies. I grow pansies because they have a little flower on them and the flower is edible. Not that I eat it, but I put it on my plate and it looks pretty. And when things look appetizing visually, it tells the brain, hey, this is going to be good. And then take a second, smell your food because the sense of smell goes directly to the brain. And how many of you have been in situations where you smell something and it takes you back to when you were a kid, when your mom or your grandmother or somebody was cooking something and your mouth starts to water because you know it's going to be super tasty and all of those positive things. So figuring out smells and being able to take a second before you start to eat. Wine connoisseurs do it all the time, right? They take their glass, they do this, they smell it. Some of them even close their eyes so they just get that sense of smell. And it definitely changes. So the more senses you involve in the experience that you're doing, the bigger the benefit. So then when you take a bite, rather than having video on and having or a lot of other distractions, or this is the number one distraction, um, putting that away so that you look at your food, you smell your food, you taste your food. You don't have all of these interruptions or other things going through your brain, like you're scrolling through and say, "Oh, so and so is here. Looks like they're having a good time. Why aren't I there?" That kind of thing. Versus enjoying your food, you taste it, you chew it, you feel it in your mouth, you've smelled it, the visual, all of those kinds of things adds to the experience. And oh, by the way, a side benefit is when you eat this way, you eat slower. And when you eat slower, a lot of times it allows the feedback from the gut to the brain to say when you're full. So many people find that they eat less because they enjoy it more. And their body has a sense of being able to feel when it's full. So let's go back and do a little bit of kind of an overview. So one of two things, either you're super stressed out or you're just kind of feeling blah. You don't really enjoy anything. You don't really like anything. Seasons are changing. You look at your summer, it's like, what did I do? Did I have any fun? Did I go anywhere? Did I do anything? It's fall. Oh my God. We're going to be forced inside in 20 below degree weather, rather than it's nice outside, it's beautiful, the sun is shining, open a window, smell, look around. When it comes to eating, take time, put it on a plate, sit down at a table. If you want, I like to use a cloth napkin because I really like the way that it feels versus paper. I put the cloth napkin in my lap. I look at my food. I smell it and really savor every moment of that because that's what your body's going to do. And you set it up so it's that way, but you feel better. You've enjoyed it. You've taken yourself out of whatever it was that was bothering you or stressing you or that you were blasé about and enjoy doing what you're doing now. So that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.